Greetings, Taku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you all yet again another Game of Thrones character spotlight right here on Otaku Assemble Weekly. And as always, here to bring you the latest in this week's character spotlight video. And this week's character comes courtesy of Fangs 1978, who is the YouTube winner in the Spotlight Sweepstakes. Fangs 1978 had the most voted up comment in last week's video, and the character who won with a total of 19 thumbs up, just 3 more than the runner-up, was none other than Arya Stark. So, now for those of you all who have been following my reviews since season 1, you guys know that Arya was immediately one of my favorite characters, and still is. So much so that I even nicknamed my niece after her. Back in October, my eldest sister had a baby girl, and they named her Ariana. So I immediately said, your nickname's going to be Arya. That's what Uncle Larry's going to call you. And when she gets older, I'll explain to her why. But the thing is, what attracted me to Arya from the get-go, from the jump, what I love so much about her character was her personality. Arya is very headstrong. She knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to go after it. She's outspoken. She does not hesitate to tell other characters what she thinks and how she feels. And then last but certainly not least, she's determined. No matter what's going on, no matter how much opposition she's given, when she puts her mind to something, she's going to see it through, for better or for worse. And so when you take all those things into consideration, you can't help but rally behind that type of character. And when you take it, and then when you take in consideration the fact that we're talking about a young girl, I mean, you can't help but root for her. Now, for those of you all who have been following my reviews since season 1, you will also remember that during the first 2 seasons, I got a lot of flack from the so-called feminists who discovered my reviews because they claimed that the reason why I liked Arya more than Sansa was the fact that she was a tomboy and not girly like Sansa. And that's not entirely true. I like Arya because she's active in the same way that Catelyn, Cersei, Marjorie, Melisandre, Dany are all active. She does things to progress the story, and by doing so becomes a great window character for us to see the fallout of the Civil War happening in Westeros. Remember, Arya is the character where we first see Harrenhal from. Arya is the character where we see the countryside, being torn apart from the war. Arya is the character where we see the Riverlands and the condition that it's in after the Red Wedding. So, yeah, Arya is active. She finds herself in all these predicaments, and with each season aims to get out of it. She does something about her situation. Season 1 ends with her being forced to leave King's Landing with the Night's Watch under the pretense that she's a boy, and she ends up shanghaied in Harrenhal. And even becomes cupbearer to Tywin Lannister. But what does she do? She enlists the help of Jaqen H'ghar to exact justice on some of the people there and to free her and her friends by the end of the season. Season 3, when she finds herself with a Brotherhood without banners. Granted, I think she did plan to stay with them until she met back up with Robb, but after what happened to Gendry, she left. And then now in season 4, I think she's only tried to run away from the Hound once, but pretty much now she's traveling with the Hound still. Regardless of if things turn out the way she wants them to, she at least attempts to get herself out of these predicaments. And I guess now that's going to bring me to the part about Arya that I'm a tad bit conflicted with right now, and that's where her character is going, the path in which her character may follow. Here's the thing. We learned in season 1 that Arya wants to be a knight. She didn't care to be a lady. She didn't want to be a princess or anything like that. She wanted to be a knight, and she tried to pursue that with her sword lessons with Serial Pharrell and whatnot. When that was taken away from her and she was forced into the Night's Watch, still, yeah, she could pass off being a boy. Easy squeezy lemon peasy. And even then, she befriended Jock and Hagar. She befriended a mercenary. We knew that interest was still there. Over time, she started to develop this want to sort of, you can call it hatred, you can call it anger, but, she felt a strong desire to avenge those who have been transgressed against. After what happened to Ned, and it started even before that when the butcher's boy was murdered. So we know that she has a very strong desire to see justice for those people, for her friends, and for her family. And it seemed like for a while that's where she was going. Now I fear that she may be heading more towards just being a killer, and I don't want that to happen. Now granted, she is still keeping up that whole vengeance thing. At the end of season 3, she kills the man who sold Grey Wind's head onto Rob's corpse. At the beginning of season 4, she kills the man who killed her friend when the Night's Watch convoy was ambushed. So that much is still holding up. I just hope that she doesn't become a cold-blooded killer, because remember, who is she with right now? The Hound, who is very ruthless, who is very cutthroat, who doesn't mind killing. And I don't want her to fall under his reluctant tutelage. Nor do I want her to become a mercenary like Jock and Hagar, nor do I want her to become, anything remotely close to a sellsword or a second son or anything like that. If anything, I would like to see Arya remain an avenger, because the second you make her a cold-blooded killer, then the whole moral ambiguity thing comes into place. I don't think Arya needs that, nor do I think she deserves that. Remember, Arya is still a child. Season 1, she was still somewhat of the naive. I would say she's probably one of the most naive characters at the start of the series. Why? Because, at least with Sansa, yeah, she was naive about Joffrey and stuff like that, but that was still within the realm of what she would actually become. Arya wanted to completely break that mold. She wanted to be something completely different. She was a dreamer, and hey, from one dreamer to another, I can empathize. But the thing is, now that she's developed this mantra, after all these tragic things have happened to her, and she's sort of thrown that on her back and carried it with her and going with it, making her an avenger keeps her, at least in my opinion, within the moral right. She is still being ethical. She still has a moral code. Why? Because she's not killing people for no reason. She's killing an exact list, an exact persons who did an exact thing against an exact person. That's it. It's like, you are on my list because you harmed this person and you did this, so I'm gonna take you out. Please, writers, keep her in that. That's where I think she needs to be going. And it'll be interesting to see how she gets there. One final note on her before I conclude this video. I will say, though, that it is a tad bit frustrating to not see her arrive to that sooner. And this is what I mean. She's had multiple chances, multiple missed opportunities to sort of step upon that path sooner. Jock and Hagar offered her to come with him back to Bravos. She turned him down. The Brotherhood Without Banners wanted her to stay with them, and she turned them down. So that opportunity's been there to start that. And who knows, maybe this is all a much longer journey. Maybe it's going to take more tragedy, more heartbreak, more harsh reality for her to finally be like, okay, no, now I'm going to do this. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. But it's just a matter of time before we see where all of that leads. Anywho, that's going to pretty much wrap up my thoughts on Arya for this week's Game of Thrones Character Spotlight. I want to thank you all for joining me again this week. And I also want to congratulate Once again, I want to congratulate Fangs1978 for being the YouTube winner in week 1 of the Spotlight Sweepstakes. And now that this video concludes week 1 of said sweepstakes, week 2 is now underway. By the time this video is released, it will be posted on the OAW Facebook page, which will be linked in the description box below. So for those of you all who have yet to check out the OAW Facebook page and who have yet to like the OAW Facebook page, please do so now, because in the comments of this posting on said Facebook page, this will kick off the next round of character votes. In the comments below, leave your suggestions for next week's character and like those suggestions you want to see the most. Like the character you want to see me discuss in next week's video, and just like this week, whoever gets the most likes, they will become the Facebook winner in the Spotlight Sweepstakes, and their character will be addressed next week. Also, don't forget, if you have yet to follow me on Beamly.com or to join the Game of Thrones TV room, please do so as well. That will also be linked in the description box below. And with that being said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, signing off, and until next time, peace.